Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's talk about making friends. You'll have two types of friends. This is my opinion. This is the way it was laid down to me. I didn't invent this. You'll have either confidants or connections. And that's the way it was always told to me. You should have lots of connections. But you'll really only have a few confidants. And some people, they kind of get it twisted. They think that maybe life is about collecting as many confidants as possible and having this giant inner circle. It makes life too confusing. You don't want a giant inner circle. Every tribe will have their little hierarchy, and that'll be the leader of the tribe and his wife. You know, it'll be like two people. Have your little inner circle for your tribe. And those are the people that aren't going anywhere. There'll always be fly-by-night, kind of here today, gone tomorrow, friends in your life. But the confidants are the ones that stay forever. They're going to be the ones that'll be with you until the very end. And it's reciprocal. These are people that you want to put people in your inner circle that have your best interest at heart. And that doesn't mean that they just accept you for everything that you are. It's not total unconditional acceptance. It's a conditional acceptance. And it's not that they're ready to leave you, it's that when you start slipping, they come get you like an angry mother, drag you by the ear and say, you do better than that. I've known you for too long. You're worth more than this. You know, get out of that bad relationship. That your friend will come and tell you that. All your other friends will be like, oh, I like your new boyfriend. Your friend will come and be like, dump that motherfucker. You want to have friends that help you stay virtuous and stay in good character, and you do this with them also. It's not just enough to bring somebody into your inner circle that has the same like of music as you, the same, like they like the same food, and we can point, we like all the same stuff, you know, welcome in. Those types of people may not necessarily be your people. Your people, your inner circle, the confidants, those are people that are really looking out for you. And when someone's looking out for you, it may be against your own wishes. You have to give into that. You have to have faith, you know, not in God, but similarly, like in your friends, that they have your best interest at heart, and that even if you think that you're right and you're lost in your emotion, you're lost in whatever moment you are in, sometimes it's nice to just be able to release and say, okay, well, I don't really know what's going on right now. I guess they're telling me, everybody's telling me one thing. I'm going to take that advice. It's nice to have people in our lives like that. Somebody who's going to say, hey, don't take another move. There's about to step on a snake. You want to be able to say, to freeze, and to have friends that you can trust, that they're not fucking with you. And if you're about to step on a snake, you'll freeze and wait for that snake to pass, or whatever it takes, grab a stick and get rid of it. You're not a good friend if you were to keep walking. If somebody in your inner circle tries to help you in that kind of way, even if it's sharp, because when you're yelling snake, you're not saying excuse me. You're going to say, hey, stop. You know, there's a snake right there. It could be sharp. It could be an aggressive command. And you want friends that can give you an aggressive command when they're trying to help you. But you want to be able to be a good friend. That's what reciprocation is. That's what being reciprocal in this relationship is to do this with each other, and you know, to have faith that your homie has your back. And I'm not going to just keep walking. They say stop, and I'm like, what do you know? You just go marching forward, stepping right over some diamondback rattlesnake. All your friend's going to say is, motherfucker, I told you, why didn't you listen to me? He's going to question your friendship. I've been there. I've had one of my best friends in my whole life I've known for most of my life. We grew up on the same block, 4 houses down from each other when we were kids. We're very similar types of people. We think the same, we look the same. We've been through so much together. We've had other people in our little inner circle. Me and Jason are the inner circle. And we've had our own crew when we were younger, and we were the inner circle. And we brought in other people with us. At one time, I think there was about 4 of us in our inner circle. Decision makers. We get together, have a powwow, and this is we're the top brass. We call all the shots. There's nothing happen unless we make it happen. We decide it to happen, and we kind of had that going. A little commission of, but we were friends. We weren't just, we committed crimes together, but we weren't just like that. We were truly buddies. But over time, me and Jason realized that it's hard to find true loyalty. It's hard to find somebody who is going to trust you and that you can trust back. Because that trust is so incredibly important. There's faith. You have to release a certain amount of your control and say, okay, I'm going to trust this person. Like that exercise, those trust exercises. That's about kind of a release into other people's arms, literally. Fall off a table into other people that are going to catch you. You have to give up your control over the world. You can't be a dictator at that moment. You have to trust the group. Trust that they have your back, literally. And people would fall off one after another. We had brought in this guy Dave. We were in our mid to late 20s, living out California, down in the ghetto, Mexican barrio. And me and Jason had always been shopping bring somebody. We'd always had associates and connections. I've always had tons of connections, tons and tons and tons of connections. I have charisma. I meet people. I talk to people everywhere I go. I make connections all the time. My Rolodex is fucking overflowing with business cards. If you're too young to know what a Rolodex is, it's one of those circular business card carriers. You want to have a lot of connections. We'd always look to bring somebody in. We found this dude, Dave. Dave was a UFC fighter, real badass motherfucker, and we liked that tough guy kind of thing about him. He could stand, me and Jason are tough guys. We like tough guys. Don't want to hang out with no punks, no pussies. Dave was tough. He had a big reputation, huge reputation of being like just a real mean, badass son of a bitch. He owned his own martial arts school. He was 6'6", 270 pounds. Real intimidating guy. Had one of those funny walrus mustache things with no goatee, just a big giant puffy, California fucking guys used to have those. I don't know if people still rock those kind of mustaches. They're always weird to me. Some people grow them out really long. Dave had that really big one. And it just made him look mean all the time. Just looked me like a mean son of a bitch. We would all drink together, hang out together all the time. We started going to we were already going to bars all the time. I did a lot of business in bars. I did a lot of fucking business in bars. I was in bars easily 7 nights a week. Dave would come out with us on drinking binges, and we'd end up getting in bar fights with other cats, other little wannabe tough guys. And it was fun. I liked getting in fights. Dave loved getting in fights. He was a good fighter. It was fun to watch him. It's fun to watch a black belt UFC guy whoop somebody's ass. But it can go sour. We stumbled out of a bar one night in a popular area of lots of bars. We're walking back towards my apartment down in the ghetto, which wasn't far, just right off of downtown, 5-minute walk. We get halfway down the block, there's another bar that we're walking by, and the door goes flying open. 3 guys and a girl come out of the bar. They're all drunk. The guys bump into us. The chick is the ex-girlfriend of Dave, and she's having an argument with these other guys, these 3 drunk guys from the bar. So Dave wants to jump into action and play hero. He's going to protect his ex-girlfriend, and he kind of has thoughts to get her back. I knew that because I remember him whining about her. He wished he'd get her back. And this was his moment. He's going to protect her from these 3 guys. And he's a big, bad UFC dude. So he's going to face off against these 3 guys by himself. He bit off a little bit more than he can chew. One of the guys goes up behind him with this sucker punch, gets almost to him. I jump into action to save Dave's, because we're homies, I don't know what they're all fighting about. I don't care, but that's my homeboy. I grab the guy, put him down on the ground, give him a good scare. I didn't hit him or nothing. He was scared to death when I had him down on the ground. Dave takes and slaps the other guy. Goes up to him with his little martial arts kind of shit. You know how those guys dance around like idiots, those karate guys. They can't just come up at you. They gotta be like, So Dave does that, and bam, he slaps a guy, open-handed, just slaps him across the head. That guy goes down. He's asleep, just on the ground, just like a fucking wet, blanket. The other guy, he's scared to death. He goes taking off. The chick, his ex-girlfriend, she's furious at Dave, yelling and screaming, "You big jerk!" Cops are coming. We hear the fucking sirens coming. Somebody called the cops because it was a rather violent confrontation. And Dave really took this one guy out, and it didn't look good. It was all in the middle of the street, popular area. I tell Dave, look, we just live 5 minutes from here. All we got to do is get across the intersection up there. There's a big intersection up there. We got to get to it. And we get through that intersection. On the other side of it is the flats. That's the ghetto. That's the barrio. That's the worst part of town. These downtown cops ain't going to fucking come over there. They're not going to even think of that. They're going to look for whoever is causing trouble. They're going to look for it around here. They're not going over there. This is all going in one ear, out the other. Used to be, not anymore. I used to be an expert criminal. If anybody knew how to get away from cops, it was me. Now you're in my world. Let's go. It's time to go. Dave fucking didn't listen. Me and Jason walked off. Dave walked right into the fucking arms of the police. They arrested him. Turns out the kid that he slapped, he cracked his skull open. His brains weren't popping out, but he cracked the kid's skull open with a slap. This is how tough Dave was. And that's major arrest. He went to prison for assault, a major assault. He got out. It was his first offense, and California is flooded. They give you 5 to 1. The whole it was his first offense. He had money. He came from a good family. They let him go. Who knows if they would have let me go or somebody else, but they let him go. The way they do it in California, they look at your address. If you're from a good neighborhood, don't give them much time. If you're from a bad neighborhood, they're like, book 'em, Dano. Send him away for 1,000 years. So Dave got off. But I couldn't really be friends with him after that. I realized that if he can't have faith in something that I'm trying to tell him, I'm trying to help him. He didn't have to get arrested. He didn't have to have this case on his shoulders. He didn't have to have probation or parole or whatever it is. He didn't have to go through any of that. All he had to do was cross the fucking street with me and just be like, cool, man, But instead, his ego was fine. He's thinking too much for himself. When you're in a tight group, when you're choosing your confidants, this is ultimate community where you will die for your homeboys, for your family, your wife. People in your inner circle are people that you ride with hardcore, and that you have to be able to trust them. If they say it's time to go, you have to go with them. It's all just food for thought. Thanks for watching.